Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and do a battery comparison between all these various different Samsung Galaxies I have. Now, on the Galaxy S24, now they were all at 100% literally like 2 minutes ago or like 3 minutes ago when I first started. So this is about like 2 minutes behind. And some of the phones are already going down a percentage, which is pretty insane. Now, the Galaxy S24 I have here, the S23 here, S22, S21, and Galaxy S20. Now they were all at 100% charging exactly the same. I unplugged them all at the exact same time. I went ahead and set them all up here. They all were charged up, everything like that. So they're all at 100%. They're all at their max brightness. But keep in mind, and all of them have their apps cleared out in the background, as you all can kind of tell. Now, some big things to keep in mind with these phones is that the Galaxy S24 is probably going to have a substantially better battery life, but also overall the less deteriorated battery. So in all my battery comparisons I do before, a big thing to keep in mind is that a phone like the Galaxy S24 is probably at like 100% battery health. The phone like the Galaxy S20, even though if it might have the same size battery, is probably not at the same because this S20 has been out since 2020. I've had it since 2020, so this phone's probably at like 85%. So theoretically speaking, these phones, but from real world use, that's kind of what you're expecting. You're probably not buying a brand new Galaxy S20 anymore, so that's probably one thing to keep in mind. Now, whatever I do on one phone, I'm going to do on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and for the first hour, I'm just going to go ahead and load up a YouTube video. I'm just going to load up YouTube in the background, and we're just going to let it just kind of die out from there. And we're going to keep our eye on it and see what basically happens in the next hour or so. So let's go and see how they hold up, and we'll check back in the next hour and see what battery lives they're at. It's been another hour, and our Galaxies are at various battery lives. So the Galaxy S24 is at 96%, the Galaxy S23 is at 93%, the Galaxy S22 is at 87%, the S21 is at 91%, and the Galaxy S20 is at 87%. And the way I know that is because I'm zoomed into the camera while I'm kind of looking at it from the side. And here's the thing with all these phones. Number one, the Galaxy S24 is still at the highest, and this is literally of just being on the main screen for an hour with the video playing in the background. That's not that computational heavy. I'm surprised even the S24 went down that much, to be honest. The surprising thing is the S21 is actually giving us better battery life than both the S22 and the Galaxy S20. That's a very, very surprising thing, basically going on for both of them. Now I'm going to let them go on another hour on their main display. Nothing crazy. We're just going to let them die out from there too. So we'll check back in about another hour and basically see where we're at from there. Alright everyone, it's been about another hour now, and our battery lives are all over the place again. So our Galaxy S24 is at 91%, our Galaxy S23 is at 87%, the Galaxy S22 is at 77%, the Galaxy S21 is at 82%, and the Galaxy S20 is at 76%. So these are still kind of all over the place. The S20 is kind of in the worst place, and the S22 is right behind it. The S21 is doing a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's definitely still not as good as the S23 or S24, but it is actually better than the S22. So the S22 probably had one of the worst battery lives I can see from this type of comparison. I'll tell you though, the S24 is definitely going to be doing better. I'm going to let them do another hour just on their screen because I'm seeing some interesting things. Just from being a couple of hours on their display, we're already seeing that the battery life is already going down very fast on some of these older phones. And I know as soon as I hit the Temple Run 2 test, all of these are going to go basically down within like 2 hours. So I'm going to let them go another hour on their screen. We'll check back in about another hour, maybe at 2 hours, and see where we go from there. So another hour has passed by, and our Galaxy, or a couple hours, actually 3 hours, our Galaxy S24 is at 75%, the Galaxy S23 is at 67%, the Galaxy S22 is at 43%, the Galaxy S21 is at 54%, and then the Galaxy S20 is at 39%. So as of right now, our Galaxy S24 is still doing the best. Look how much of a gap, and they've only been on their main display for 5 hours now, and the Galaxy S25 is doing a substantially better job than basically every phone before it. Now, for the most part, the S20 is pretty much doing the worst. Actually, no, the S20 is doing the worst. The S22 is still doing pretty bad, and the S21 is doing better than the S20, which is crazy. So now I'll go and load up Temple Run 2. This one's going to drain the batteries out like crazy. It's something about this game that people go crazy about. So I'm going to go and load up this game. We're going to let them die out from there, and we'll check back in about another hour, and we'll see where we're at. Alright everyone, it's been almost an hour since our last sync. So now we're going to basically hop out of all these applications. By the time I get out of all of them, it's probably going to be another hour. So hopping out of all of these, we'll basically see that our battery lives are all kind of all over the place again. Our Galaxy S25 is at 61%, or S24 is at 61%. Our S23 is at 49%. Our S22 is at 18%. Our Galaxy S21 is at 37%. Our Galaxy S20 is at 18%. It's crazy to me that both the S22 and the S20 have this terrible battery life, and I knew this was going to happen. The fact that the S21 is doing so much better kind of makes sense because this chipset was pretty optimized at the 888 chipset. This one had that Gen 1 chipset. So it's genuinely like not that insane to me, but it's also pretty crazy. So we're going to load up Temple Run 2 again, and all these, we're going to let them die out again. It's crazy to me how much better the S24 is doing over all the other, phones, to be honest. The S23 is still pretty close, but these two are just not really doing that well. So we'll check back in about another hour and see where we're at. All right, everyone, another hour has passed, and you can see basically my Galaxy S22 or my Galaxy S22 and my Galaxy S20 have both died. They both died a little bit at later points, but you can see that Galaxy S20 did last longer than my Galaxy S22, which is pretty crazy. My S25 right now is at 41%. My S23 is at 25%. My Galaxy S20 is at 13%. So again, all of them are at varying battery lives for the most part. Still, the Galaxy S25 is doing the best. Or S24, I keep calling it S25. S24 is doing the best. The S23 is still doing better, and the S21 is still surviving. So we're going to go ahead and kind of let them die out right now again one more time. And we're basically going to go ahead and see what happens here. I definitely do think that the Galaxy S24 is going to be doing the best for the most part. And so I definitely do think this phone is probably going to do the best, but we'll check back in about another hour and see where we're at. So we'll check back in around 8 p.m. and see where we're at from there. All right, everyone, almost 9 hours in, and the Galaxy S24 is about 20% battery life left. The S23 ended up dying around the 8 hour, 48 minute mark. So the thing I can definitely tell you between all of them is that you are actually getting a significantly better battery life on the Samsung Galaxy S24. It's going to be the better phone in every single way from a battery life perspective. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and jump on from the S23 to the S24, but as you can see, the phone that did the worst is basically the Galaxy S22. This phone, because of that Gen 1 chipset, really didn't do that great of a job. The jump from the S22 to the S23 was probably the biggest jump in terms of battery life. You may also be able to say a jump from the S20 to the S21 or a downgrade from the S22 down to the S21 is probably going to be giving you the better battery life. This is like the third or fourth battery comparison where I've seen this type of thing happen. It's pretty crazy. The S22 did much worse than I thought. But the S24 is doing a really good job. So if you're trying to get the better battery life out of all of them, clearly the S24 is significantly better than even the S23. It's going to give you probably like 20% better battery life than the S23 and significantly better battery life than all the other devices. So that pretty much covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.